Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to Xbox On. The lovely folks at Square Enix recently invited us over to Poland to have a peek at their highly anticipated sci-fi shooter, Outriders. Now that we're back in beautiful Britain, we're going to take you through our top 8 reasons to get excited for Outriders when it drops later this year on Xbox. Now, if this is the first time you've ever heard of Outriders, let's get you up to speed real quick. Humanity is in a bit of a pickle. Earth is sadly no longer sustainable, and so the population of the planet have ventured to the stars in search of a new home. As an Outrider, you are part of the forward recon team that will scope out the mysterious planet Enoch. However, nothing is ever that simple, and while searching for the lost drone signal, you discover an unnatural storm that seems to bend the rules of reality. Just your luck really, as the storm seems to have a bizarre effect on you, forcing you into cryosleep for 31 years. And sadly, nobody mentioned to the waiting colony ship that Enoch would be a no-go, so the last survivors of humanity have been waging war on each other on a brutal wasteland that has rendered all their technology useless. Fans of the Gears of War franchise will feel right at home here, as the developers are the very same studio that brought us Gears of War Judgment, and have even helped Epic Games in developing Fortnite. Those are some pretty huge games to be involved with, and Outriders promises to have a deep and expansive story set in a detailed universe. It makes a lot of sense then that a team like People Can Fly, who have helped deliver such brilliant Xbox experiences throughout the years, is excited to bring another AAA title to Xbox fans. From what we were able to play in the prologue, it definitely feels like the kind of game that devotees of the Gears series will love. The movement is fluid, yet snappy, with cover shooter mechanics that are easy to pick up, but clearly a challenge to master. If you ever wanted to play a Gears of War game that doubled down on the sci-fi fantasy elements, this might just be the one for you. The dev team wanted to make sure that players understood that although their big guns are powerful, they're even better when mixed in with some of the game's class-based abilities. It's pretty handy then that Outriders lets you play around with some devastatingly powerful abilities that you've picked up, courtesy of that raging storm we talked about earlier. So, luckily for you, there's no need to rely solely on the weapons that you'll be picking up along the way. These abilities are tied to the classes that you can choose from during the character creator, each with their own perks, passives, and playstyles. They felt incredibly unique to each other, and we can't wait to see how people use their Xbox Elite Series 2 controllers to tie different button commands and make it work perfectly for them. And when working together in 3-player co-op, the powers combine and create these gorgeous displays of lights and sound that crush and obliterate anything standing in their path. So, deep Xbox shooter roots combined with a fluid movement system and some cool abilities. Sounds pretty good so far, but that isn't all. You'll also have a deep RPG skill tree to play around with too. Each one is tailored to the 4 available classes, and we know about 3 of them already, with a mystery 4th yet to be revealed. In addition to the Pyromancer and the Trickster, you'll also get to play around with the suitably named Devastator. This class specializes in up-close destruction, with the ability to shield themselves with nearby debris, shatter the earth in front of them, and even leap into the air and crush anything that happens to be unfortunate enough to be inside the landing zone. But if conjuring flames from thin air is more your style, you will feel right at home with the Pyromancer. More of a medium-range specialist, the Pyromancer can mark enemies and regenerate health upon killing them. Fire is your friend here, and watching the damage ticks stack up as the enemies burn and crumble into ash is immensely satisfying. It's a very aggressive class, but one that perhaps requires a bit of coordination from your teammates to fully take advantage of some of its area of effect abilities. Either way, the Pyromancer's abilities look sensational on screen when they're triggered, so you're sure to have fun with this class. Last but not least, we got to try out the Trickster. This class has some mind-bendingly beautiful abilities, many of which trap enemies in time and space. This obviously helps make light work of them, especially when combined with your allies' abilities or a few shotgun blasts to the face. And it is definitely worth mentioning that the Trickster has one of the coolest melee abilities we've ever seen, literally giving an X-ray to your enemies before cleaving them in two. Nice. So whether you decide to pick the Pyromancer and wield a mastery of fire and ash, or perhaps our personal favourite, the Trickster, and dupe your enemies with the control of space and time, you'll feel in total control of your character thanks to that fluid movement system. It isn't all magic and sorcery at play in Outriders though. Yes, your technology has mostly been rendered useless, but that just means it's time to find some bigger, better and badder guns to use. With a tiny flair of a looter shooter to it, you'll be well rewarded for your excursions. Enemies and bosses will drop a variety of loot, all at different rarities. As you can guess, the rarer the loot, the better the gear. With different bonuses, perks, and stats, there's going to be a ton of customization on offer, all of which will work in tandem with any of those skill tree decisions you end up making. Perfect for those min-maxers out there. But, of course, if you want the very best gear, you're gonna have to put that Xbox controller to work. Outriders features an adjustable World Tier difficulty slider. As you progress through the game, more of these world tiers will become available, with 15 options to choose from. Be warned though, because each of these difficulty levels drastically change the enemy behavior, from their damage values to their health. Each tier breaks down the percentage change for these effects, but also shows how much more likely you are to earn some legendary weaponry or armor from your activities. No doubt, this will prove a great challenge for even the best of teams, or those solo players who fancy the ultimate test of their skills on their Xbox. Of course, Outriders does play best when in that team of 3, but thanks to its seamless drop-in, drop-out style of co-op, you can just as easily conquer Enoch's dangers alone as you could as part of a squad. The game has been designed from the ground up to allow every activity to be played, regardless of the size of your fire team. So there'll be no need to wait around for your buddies to join via Xbox Live if you're itching to let your powers off the leash. And oh boy, you are going to need every bit of that strength if you're going to take on what Outriders has to offer. Thanks to that crazy storm, Enoch's landscape and inhabitants have been transformed into some pretty mean adversaries. You'll be facing them across the game's expansive story, littered with big boss baddies and the altered natural residents of the planet. The prologue mission offered up a few mysterious hints at what could lie ahead, but we'll leave that up to you guys to explore, and there promises to be tons of replayability in the many side missions that Outriders will boast at launch. Every time you complete one, some loot drops, and you can keep earning that loot over and over again by heading back to that location. So get farming if you want some of that high-level gear. It's all shaping up to be an absolutely incredible experience, and you must be asking when the game is coming out. Well, you'll be pleased to know that you're able to get hands-on with Outriders when it launches in Holiday 2020. Wait a second. Holiday 2020? Isn't that when the Xbox Series X is launching? That's right, we are thrilled to confirm that Outriders will be available to play on both your Xbox One and the next-gen Xbox Series X in Holiday 2020. The Xbox Series X being capable of ray tracing, 8K output, and support for 120Hz displays, you can be sure that Outriders will look, feel, and play the best on the next-gen Xbox console. But don't worry, because developers People Can Fly are fully committed to making sure that players on Xbox One consoles will still be able to experience this third-person sci-fi shooter in all its glory. Now we've got something pretty special for you, as we've got some pure, uncut gameplay from our play session with Outriders.
Okay, boss, do you see a big tower? That's where you need to get. The old solar tower. But it's a mess out there. Everything's upside down.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry, I'm carving my way through it.
Dart, you're too late.
What happened here?
What does it look like? We got mutilated. We had the turds cornered, but they had a captain.
Where is he?
Inside the bunker up the hill. I wish I could look him in the eyes when you make him pay for what he did.
I think I'll pay him a little visit.
Bring me that head. I want to see him butchered.
Get up!
You think you can fight me?
Authorities closing in!
Now, if that doesn't have you excited, well, we don't know what will. Let us know down in the comments below which of these 3 classes you're most excited about trying out first, and we'll see you next time. Bye!